Yo, check this out, man. I was running today, went for a little jog around the block, and I heard these lyrics. I was listening to some of that JWB stuff, and the lyric that he said was, "I'm the Mike Jordan of recording."
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, hold up, I had to stop while I was running. So, yo, let me switch over to Ralph. Ralph, when you hear something like that, when you hear those bars, what you thinking of?
You know, it's funny, man, because Jordan, and we're going to spend a lot of time on Jordan today, but Jordan is the GOAT in a lot of ways. But in the way that Jordan is the GOAT isn't necessarily his basketball prowess. It's that he was able to fuse it all together. He was able to take basketball and make it street, make white people want to rock with it, make people in the hood want to rock with it, go all the way around. He touched everybody. And you know what's crazy? He touched everybody and nobody knew who that cat was.
That's right. You know, you are absolutely right. And you know what, though? You forgot to mention one thing about Jordan, man.
Okay, yeah.
Although his skills were on point, Jordan had swag.
He did.
You see him on the court, man. It was like Muhammad Ali fighting.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
So first off, what you said something, yo, we doing Saturday Night Live on a Sunday night. So cheers, my brother. God bless.
Hey, cheers, man.
Okay, so listen. He had swag in the way that it was cold swag, like ice water in his veins type swag. And so I'm gonna tell you this, and you're gonna clown me a lot today, but I'm a New York Knicks fan, as you know.
Okay, all right.
So there's two motherfuckers that I hate in this world as a Knicks fan. Reggie Miller and Michael Jordan.
It's like that.
It's like that. So what I'm saying about it is that for me to give Michael his props is hard for me. He broke my heart.
On Patrick Ewing, I get you.
He broke my heart enough time.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I got some boys from the Detroit. They say the same thing.
That's right.
Lakers dudes, they feel the same way.
Yes.
All the LA Cats, because those were the major games, and he crushed everybody's hearts. If they weren't rooting for the Bulls, you're gonna find yourself in the dust.
So what Jay is saying is that I'm the Mike Jordan of recording is. What Jay is saying is, listen, that's the top of the list. So if I'm the Mike Jordan of recording, you Harold Miner.
That's right.
Baby Jordan. You might get lucky and get Kobe.
You might be Bird, but you ain't got swag.
You might be LeBron, but you were never gonna be me.
No.
Because I'm Mike.
And
right?
Everybody wants to be like Mike.
It reminds me of another Jay lyric where he's like, be like Mike, Jordan. No, that's not even Jay. I'm bugging. That's Biggie. That's Biggie.
No, I
think Jordan, Jackson, Action.
No. I think you're mixing up niggas and Pierce. I think you're mixing up niggas and Pierce. We gotta find those lyrics though. But I know he does go off saying, he says something like, "Take your pick, Jackson, Jordan, Tyson."
Yeah.
Like that, but
so you know what though? So we're gonna get into this some more, man, in a minute. But first of all, it's another week in the quarantine jungle. Welcome to Black Fathers Matter. My name is Ralph.
It's your boy Roy right here.
And we bringing this.
Matter, man.
We bringing this literally out the trunk. So Roy, let me ask you a question, man. How you doing this week with this whole quarantine thing?
Man, this week this week's it's been a little bit ups and downs. You know what I mean? Because we got some good weather out here. We had a couple of days. We had some great weather, and that was a struggle for me because I want to get out and about. Call up some homies, go fishing. Do some outward. Take my dog hiking, do kind of stuff like that. But with the quarantine, it was a little tough. So we just kept it to backyard boogie and doing barbecues, man. Trying to get a little sun out there. But
okay. Nice.
How about you, man? What you do this week?
Well, the crazy thing is that you mentioned the weather. It went from like it went from sunny to brick ass cold.
That's right.
But, you know, the one thing that I did that I would not recommend at all during a quarantine is that I had to move.
That's right. Oh, man.
So you know, enough respect to you. You came and helped me out, move some boxes, like chucked them into my door, socially distanced. But so while I'm in this, you know, quarantine struggle, I'm also looking at boxes upon boxes, trying to figure out where my jars of paprika are gonna go.
Where they at? Got to get your spice right, homie.
Yeah, man. No, I'm coming up with some next level spice rack graffiti game.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm just blessed to be here, man. And
so
we got
you're saying you spend this week of quarantine pretty much moving and just trying to set up.
Moving, trying to set up while still trying to get my 40 hours of work in, and because I'm still blessed to stay employed. And make sure that I'm doing my part on the homeschooling and all that jazz.
That's right, man. That's right.
It's a crazy week. I would love to take a nap, but maybe next week.
Maybe next week. Take 3 days off and just sleep it.
Yeah, maybe next week. So here's what we're gonna do, man. We got a good show. Another Black Fathers Matter. Pop the trunk, like Jalen Rose says, and Jacoby. Shout out to them brothers. We're gonna pop the trunk. We're gonna talk about next a subject that everybody's talking about. All right, y'all. Welcome back to Black Fathers Matter. I don't even honestly know where to start with this. I'll be honest. You know, we've heard of driving while Black. We've heard of shopping while Black. We've heard of renting while Black.
Right.
But if we don't have enough stuff to worry about as Black people on our plate right now, in 2020, now we can't even jog while Black.
Yeah,
we can't even get fitness right now, son.
Can't get that cardio right now.
No.
Watch over our back.
No. So, of course, you know, we're talking about the case of Ahmaud Arbery, who back in February was gunned down while jogging by an armed father and son. So imagine that. Like, we talking about things we want to do with our kids. And what this guy decided to do with his kids was go out and shoot a cat just on a jog.
Yeah.
And you know, so what happened, and the crazy thing about the story isn't the fact that the man can't jog in his own neighborhood, the fact that two father and son would shoot the man down. The crazy thing about it is that they were not going to find those two people at fault so that they can be tried in a court of justice, because they're not tried yet. It's going to a grand jury, which means that the grand jury could still decide not to put them up for an indictment. So what is nuts about this is that these guys still have the chance to get off, even though we've seen the video that's making people crazy. So I'm going to ask you a question, Roy. Have you watched the video?
First and foremost, man, rest in peace to Ahmaud and this, you know, rest in peace to that young king right there, man. It's a tragedy that he didn't get to live out his destiny. You know, our prayers and support go out to the family. Everybody's affected by this. And, you know, this got to stop, man. Like, honestly, it's just, like, I watched pieces of the video. I didn't even want to watch the whole thing because me as a Black man, you know, it's added stress. You know what I mean? Like, it's added stress. Like, I already worry about driving around in my car at night. I worry about driving in certain neighborhoods. Now, the comfort of me running around in my own neighborhood, and I go on jogs every day. And lately, like, you know, ever since this story happened, I've been asking myself, should I go when the sun is up? Should I go at nighttime? You know what I mean? And if I can do it during the day because I'm busy or whatever, if cars are driving by, I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. So that's something that we shouldn't be going through. You know, we should feel comfortable in our own neighborhood. And, you know, it breaks my heart because, you know, I think about, like, I have daughters, bro. you have two sons and they're young. So, you know, like my question to you is like, how do you have those conversations with them? How do you, you know, how did you get that point across? Like to know that, listen, we live in a world where, you know, we could get gunned down because of the color of our skin.
I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't had that conversation yet. And I haven't had that conversation with them because they're still young. There's still an innocence to them.
Right.
And I don't want to introduce something that is going to have them do what I did around when I was their age, which was to start questioning the police as truly about justice and order. When I was around my son's age right now, there was a kid in the Bronx that got thrown off a roof. This is what police officers used to do in the 80s in the Bronx. They would just throw black kids and brown kids off the roof.
Right. Happened
to someone from my block, not in my immediate crew, but someone I knew, off of a roof. And so I know that part of the way I think about this is colored because of where I'm from. And so I don't want to give them that color if I don't think they're ready. And if I don't think they'll need it. But here's what I keep realizing. They need it.
Yo, you know what? And you're absolutely right. Like, you know, Hollywood's been dropping movies like The Hate U Give. You know, that movie where it talks about police brutality in the black community. And, you know, this is happening to teenagers, man. This is happening, you know, it's sad. Like, I got two daughters and, you know, it's one of those things where, yeah, we obviously concerned for the future of our young kings and queens.
My oldest son was wearing, he has a New York hoodie from H&M. And he was wearing it over the weekend and he had the hoodie up. And he walked up to me to say, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" And you know who he reminded me of? And part of this is in thinking about the fact that we're going to talk about this on the show today. He looked like Trayvon Martin. And I thought, now they're starting to walk the neighborhood on their own.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Right? They've got friends in their neighborhood where they could be exactly in this situation.
Of course, yeah.
And that freaked me out. So yeah, I need to have a conversation with them.
Definitely.
But I don't know when and where and how to do it in a way that doesn't make them rethink the meaning of the words justice and the meanings of the police.
Right.
And I wanted to ask you, man, so that's where I am. Now, you mentioned, you know, you have your older daughter, and I would assume, she's a good girl, but every once in a while, she's being a 17-year-old girl and she's out in the street. Yeah. Has she had, that you know of, any interactions with police just on a day-to-day?
I'm blessed to say I haven't, man. And, you know, part of that is because, like, I've taught her a lot of things, man, how to stay clear of that. Remember, I had her when I turned 20, So yeah. I was young and wilding at the ages, man, and I had the baby with me. Do you understand how many tickets she got me out of? Right? So she's been there where police have pulled me over, either running a red light or a stop sign, even times I didn't do anything, right? And I had to explain to her, like, hey, you know what? Like, obviously, when she came of age and she's like, yo, why did he pull you over? You weren't even speeding. And I'm like, you know what? Unfortunately, in this world, there are people who, you know, want to bring us down.
No doubt.
So it's that conversation that you have with your kids, and you're going to experience the same thing. Is you got to balance. When you're having this conversation, you got to balance you don't want your kids to hate authority.
No, of course
Specifically white authority. But you want
any authority, whether it's a white police officer or Big Mama, who, if they don't obey that authority, they're gonna get that hot butt, exactly. Right? What are elders and authority? And we want to be raising kids that respect that.
That's right. Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to do is I didn't want her to grow up rebelling against the police because of what they do. Because you know what? I've been encountered by asshole police, but I've also had great police officers that have said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna let you off with a warning.
Right.
There's a lot of good cops out there. So I'm not saying everyone, if you're a police officer, you're evil, corrupt. That's not the case. Unfortunately, in any field, there is always going to be the real and the fake.
Right. So the last time I was pulled over by a police officer, like you, part of what you described, I had my my oldest kid in the car, and I had him in the car, and I was taking him to soccer practice, and his game was at Central in downtown Toronto. Right. So I'm booking it because I am notoriously late. I'm definitely on that CP time. And so I'm notoriously late. So I'm booking it. I'm trying to be mindful, but I'm booking it. Me and Justin get into a conversation about Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, man.
And I lose track of my speeding. And, I got the ticket. I'm prepared to take the L. Right? I'm prepared to take the L. Do you know what the cop did that I didn't like? He did not acknowledge that I had an 11-year-old kid in the back seat. He didn't say, "Hi, little buddy, how you doing? Your daddy was going a little fast, So I'm going to give him a warning, but you make sure you tell your dad, not drive so fast."
So is that the expectation you wanted from the police officer?
That's what I would want, to respect the fact that there's a scared little boy that all he wants to do is go play soccer. That's what I would want.
Right.
So and so this is something, unfortunately, comes up all the time. We're going to keep talking about this, but I wanted to ask you one last question, because Roy, you are from the motherland and came to North America. Do these things of these cases, these unfortunate devastations, do they affect you in the same way as they do me as an American?
You know what?
Yeah,
that's a good question, man. It's a different effect, right? Because in the motherland, it's not going to be police officers. That's the only, it's not just going to be the police officers that are going to try to give you a ticket or take opportunity, make money off whatever situation you're in.
Right.
You're dealing with rebel soldiers. You're dealing with every scammer's out there to scam you, right? And in places like where I grew up, if something was happening and if I did reach out to the police, 9 out of 10 times the police are involved in that.
Oh,
because you coming from poverty, right? So it's like, in Mexico where you have, everyone, it's like this kidnapping thing where it's all just to get money, and you have the police involved, you have the cab drivers involved, right? So I grew up through, I grew up through racism. My racism stories are a little bit different. I did experience my dad, though, have encounters with police and people, because he was, East African, dark skinned in the Middle East, and there's very few of those out there. Right. So it was a little bit different, but it does still, I still drive around, and if I see a cop cruising around me, I'm slowing down. I'm making sure I'm doing the right thing because I just don't want to deal with the hassle.
Right, right. Do you think we'll ever be able to walk down the street in peace? Like, truly?
I think we will. I think it depends on the environment we're in, though, right? If you're in an environment that's filled with hatred and racism, jealousy, that's not going to work because everybody's looking at you as a check, right? But there are places, I've been to beautiful places that I visited with my family on vacations, and like I've been in Jamaica, man. You walk around the streets in Jamaica, certain parts of Africa, you can walk around the streets and it's all love, man. They look at you like, yo, well, this is family right here, right? Like I said, in everything, there's the real and the fake.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not scaring people from going to Africa. Like, there's some beautiful places there, but there's also some scary ass places, just like the US.
Right. Yeah, the great thing is that every once in a while, I have a moment in my interactions with police that restores my faith in the whole thing.
Right.
So I didn't tell you the second part of the story where we got pulled over by the police on the way to Central Tech. Right, the guy was a jerk. I'm fighting it. June 30th. I'm going. We're gonna get this going. So anyway, pray for me.
Be out there with signs. Free route.
Pray for me. So so a different police officer at the end, if you know Central Tech in Toronto, there is a Krispy Kreme donut shop around the corner.
Right around the corner, yeah.
Right? So me and Justin go in, we get a dozen between us. I'm just saying, this is 2020. This is how we live in, a dozen between me and a 11-year-old. And so while we're waiting, another different police officer comes into the Krispy Kreme. And what that cop does, and it was a white cop, he goes right over to Justin. This was before quarantine and everything. He's like, so, did you win? Justin's like, no, we didn't win. He's like, but did you play hard? You play hard? He's like, yeah. Did you score any goals? Justin's like, yeah, I scored a goal. It's like, okay. Well, you'll get him next week. And Justin's like, yeah, of course, I'll get him next week. So we say, you probably are busier than me, so we let him go first. He gets his donut, bounces in his car, and off he goes. And Justin's like, Dad, that was a cool cop, right? It's like, yeah, that cop was pretty cool. So I know that not every cop is these, are those types of cops, or that every white person is out to shoot my kids. Right. We know that.
Of course. Now, the question I got for you, though, and that's a great story, and that's that's a powerful message, that the fact that Justin gets to see both sides.
Yeah.
Sees the law maybe disciplining you for doing something you shouldn't be doing, and he sees the law also having a great conversation and building these type of positive memories. But my question to you, you said you were arguing about Kendrick Lamar when you got pulled over. Now, were you listening to All Right? Is that the song you were listening where he says, and I hate the po-po, want to kill his dead on the streets for show? No. Is that why you got pulled over? Be honest, Ralph.
No. No, that's not why we got pulled over. So why we got pulled over is he was trying to tell me that the best thing that Kendrick Lamar has ever done is the Black Panther soundtrack.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is another
right?
conversation.
This is a next level thing. So I was trying to tell him that, no, son, you're wrong. The best Kendrick Lamar album is the one with with him and Anna Wise, and I cannot remember the name of it. So not the one before Damn.
Oh, To Pimp a Butterfly.
To Pimp a Butterfly, right? That's so I was trying to say that to him.
Yeah.
And he was saying, no, Dad, To Pimp a Butterfly isn't even better than Damn.
You know what?
And I was like, Justin, you crazy. That was why we got pulled over. Because I was
tight debate. It's a pretty tight debate. But you know what? I think y'all, since we're talking about Kendrick Lamar, you need to go back and put him and yourself on Section 8. Check out that mixtape. That's the first one. Anyways.
Okay, you're right. We're going to have this Kendrick Lamar conversation another time. But for right now, that's heavy. It's heavy on my spirit. I just, much love and condolences to his family, to the Arbery family, and to everyone who has been touched and devastated by this thing. But I need some self-love. I'm going to have some tea. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to get into some real stuff, our starting five. All right, y'all. So welcome back to Black Fathers Matter. It's the favorite time of the show when I show this young cat how we do it in Brooklyn, how we do it in Harlem, not how we do it in Mississauga. You see what I'm saying? It's time for the starting five. So here's how it goes. Now, starting five, I'm going to explain the rules in a second, but it's called the starting five. This segment is called the starting five. So it's only fitting for us to remember a couple things. One, both me and Roy are massive ball fans. We talk about ball all the time. We lead passing, texting while games is going all the time. So, so much so that we actually went playing ball one time a couple years ago, and Roy tried to kill me. So listen. Everybody is talking about basketball right now because of The Last Dance, this long-awaited miniseries about Michael Jordan and the Bulls, right? So people haven't been this excited about a Black miniseries since Roots. Kunta Kinte, respect. So Alex Haley, respect. So we wanted to do this thing on the starting five is our favorite basketball players by position. Now, here's what I mean by that. We are not talking about who is the best player of all time in that individual position. We'll leave that to other people. What we're talking about is who's our guys. If we were going to war, who are the guys that we would pick? Right. Now, naturally, because of our ages, the cats we're going to pick are people who have been playing ball within the last 50 years. So George Mikan is not going to be on either of our lists. Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, none of those cats. We have to have been alive when they were playing. Right. So that's the segment that we're looking at, right? So that is how starting five is going to work. But before we get into it, we got to talk about The Last Dance, right? So how you liking The Last Dance so far?
The Last Dance, yo. So the interesting thing I learned from watching this show is that name, The Last Dance, came from Phil Jackson. That was his last year coaching.
Okay.
And Michael said, yo, if you ain't coaching, I ain't playing. I'm done too.
Right.
And it was also Pippen's Last Dance. So, it's crazy how that name came up. And it was just one of those things where Phil Jackson would go into practice and say, yo, we got to go and give it our all. This is our last dance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this is back in
1996?
1997, 1998.
Something like that? Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, the show, well, let me ask you, man, have you seen The Last Dance?
You're going to get...
You sound like a no coming out, man. What's going on there, bro?
Okay, so listen. There's two things. One...
No, hold up. Have you seen it, yes or no? It is quarantine 2020. You got something better going on at home, man?
Okay.
Other than moving?
Okay.
You got Netflix on your phone?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Man, I
Okay.
don't know why we doing this.
Okay. So real. Keep it. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I have not seen The Last Dance.
Oh my God! Cut
And let me explain why.
Get this guy off the screen.
Let me explain why I haven't seen it. The reason why I have
you're
not.
my boy. I'll let you talk, man. Go ahead.
Okay, the reason why I haven't seen it is because of two things. One, initially I was like, "Yo, fuck Jordan. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not gonna rock with it." And then I was like, "You know what I want to do?" I knew I was gonna have to move. I knew I was gonna need to buy a TV. Right. So I was like, "Look, I'm gonna buy a big ass TV. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna make a big thing of popcorn. I'm gonna get me a nice frosty beverage, and I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna watch them straight." I haven't even been listening to like podcasts about it or watching Twitter about it. I just wanted to enjoy it in my own space. So to answer your question directly, no, I have not watched The Last Dance.
I can't say I'm not. I am disappointed in you, bro. But I have faith that you will watch it, and when you do, tears of joy will flow out of your eyes, brother.
No, it's true, man. It's true.
It was honestly, the show is amazing. Like, just honestly, I have a newfound respect for Pippen, for Rodman. Like, just knowing how these guys moved, and they all were on the same page. They want to win championships. They don't give a damn about winning games. Let's win championships.
Right.
They weren't going for the good. They were going for the great.
Right. And I think, part of what, and we're going to do this, we every time we do a starting five, now we don't have any fans, but eventually we're going to have fans. And so we're going to have, or at least we're going to have like cousins who we're going to tell to be fans so that they can like what we're going to do. We're going to pick our starting fives. You're going to pick your five. I'm going to pick my five. And then we're going to ask people to vote which one of our starting fives is better. Okay. Like in this case, it's, basketball, matchups. Yeah. Audience participation type thing. So, let's go. You ready?
All right, let's go.
Okay.
So let's pick this number. So
okay.
Steven got the number.
Okay, yeah. So super producer the Deacon, representing from an undisclosed location, Black Paradise type living. He is going to pick a number between 1 and 10. Roy and I are gonna spit our numbers, and whoever is closest, he's going to post it in the chat, and we're going to know who picks first. So my number, which I'm picking for the culture, and I'm picking for my man RIP, I'm picking number 8, Kobe.
Point guard?
No. This is the number to see who goes first.
Oh, okay, got you. All right.
Yeah. So
you picking number 8. I'm going to go with number 3.
Okay. Super producer the Deacon. What is the number? Whoa. I got to fix my chat. Oh!
It looks like you won.
Oh, no. Okay. So the number was 7, which means I win. I pick first. Listen. Now, I'm going to say something else that's controversial, my G. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time.
No doubt.
I can't deny that, even though I want to. Okay? But you know who I think is the greatest skilled player in the history of the game?
Who's that?
If you a young cat like you, breath smelling like Similac, like Stephen A would say, if you're a young cat like you would say LeBron James. And you would be wrong. Because the number one greatest all-around skilled player in the history of the game was and is Irvin Magic Johnson.
Okay, all right. That's a powerful move right
So
there.
listen. If I had five Magic Johnsons, son, you could put whatever squad you put together, and I would beat you. I would beat you.
OG, you know,
I would beat you.
You know,
42 game 7, son.
You got a good one. You know what though? But listen, man.
So what you coming with? What you coming?
Baby, bro. I'm an 80s baby. So you know what? Like my point guard, my favorite dude who would break ankles.
You only got one answer.
And get a braid up.
You only got one answer.
Allen Iverson.
No doubt.
Who you know can get a braid up during the game? Start the game with an afro. Third quarter, he goes in, fresh braids, and kill it, and score 60 points.
Yeah. You
but
know,
I like how you took it to the OG, though, man.
I can't argue AI. I can't argue AI. Yo, the man reinvented the culture.
He did.
You could make the argument that Jordan is the most important person in the culture of basketball, taking it from what we do on the court to what we do in Twitter and Instagram and
hip hop too.
Hip hop too.
Like,
so Jordan is number one. Gotta be the shoes, Mars Blackman, all of that. AI is number two because he brought it back to the hood.
The hood, man, for real.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it was AI that had. Yo, you see how like right now in hip hop, Lil Wayne, there's like so many of Lil Wayne's sons running out.
Yeah.
Every rapper looks like Lil Wayne. They
all descended.
You know, they got like all of that. AI at the time when he was doing his thing, he gave birth to so many sons who were rocking braids, getting tattoos at a time where the NBA wasn't really rocking with that.
No, definitely not. They was introducing dress codes against it.
He didn't like practice, but he legendary.
Okay, you know so my number two, I already shouted the man out.
Probably a shooting guard right now.
Yeah, my number two is Kobe.
You said Kobe, okay.
My joint is heavy Lakers.
I'm surprised you went Kobe, though.
You know what?
I'm surprised you went Kobe.
I'm going to tell you what changed my mind on Kobe. I got into an argument with the night of my wedding with my man Doug Young, who went to Lower Merion, was a teammate of Kobe's. Shout out to Doug, all the big things that Doug is doing. And he said to me, we were trying to fight LeBron versus Kobe, LeBron versus Kobe. Now, I don't know that I remember this story correctly because I was inebriated.
Right.
Wedding day. But he told me this story of why Kobe is better than LeBron. And the story he told me is that Kobe went to Paris. He won his championship and his wife was like, look, you promised you were going to take us to Paris to go on vacation. We have to go. You need to stop playing ball and we're going to go.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, okay, I promise, blah, 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 blah. 7:00, be ready to go. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know the whole story. I'm not in the man's life like that. But listen, he says to some of his boys, you need to come to Paris to work out with me from like 5 to 7. Then at 7:00, I'm going to go do tourist stuff. He brought his whole crew out to do that.
Yeah.
So when I think about that, I think that's someone who wanted it so badly. And that's why I'm picking Kobe. Who you got? Who you got for your guard?
You know, hands down, Kobe is one of the hardest working players out in the NBA, man. You know, I read a piece of his book and he talked about how, like, you know, he would, if he missed a 3-pointer playing against Miami, that night when and then they win the game, but he missed a 3-pointer. The whole team's out there, out there celebrating. This guy's still at the gym till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And so I definitely salute that hard work.
Yeah.
Listen, man, my number 2 shooting guard, man, he also comes in with a lot of hard work, man. He didn't even make his high school basketball team. And that has to be Jumpman Jordan.
No doubt.
Listen, man, I know you said Kobe, and I'm surprised you went Kobe because without Jordan, there wouldn't be no Kobe.
I know. I know.
I'm talking like a Similac in your breath.
That's that Knicks hatred, G.
I hear you. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah. The 6 out of 6. The dream team.
Right.
I get the sense he was mad to steal another Jalen and Rose thing. He was another mad, like, champagne and campaigner. And then just all the work he did all the work he did for the culture. Right. Like I can't pick nobody else. That's it, right? You can't pick nobody else. So, okay.
So moving along, man, what you got for your power forward?
No, my 3. My number 3.
Yeah, who's your number 3?
Man, see, this didn't go the way I thought it would go. Oh, man. Okay. So here's this guy is my favorite basketball player of all time. Now, honorable mention to the round of rebound, Charles Barkley. But my favorite ball player of all time is the big ticket, Kevin Garnett.
Damn. Okay.
Now, most people remember Kevin Garnett as a Celt, right? Where he was, won the chip with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. I don't remember that Kevin Garnett. When I remember Kevin Garnett in Minnesota with Stephon Marbury, where he was bodying cats.
That was his prime, dude. He was killing it.
Yeah.
He was destroying everybody in his path.
That's right. And he got one of the most iconic hits, memes in the history of sports after winning the chip, where he says, "Anything is possible." That's my G. Okay. Who's your number 3?
He's fired though, for real.
Yeah.
Man, my number 3 would have to be the young king right now, who has showed us nothing but greatness. He's taken Michael Jordan, taken Larry Bird, he's taken all the greats, he mixed them up in a pot, and
he had gumbo.
And LeBron James, dude, that's who we talking about right now. This dude is a beast. I went to watch him play against the Raptors a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He was with Miami. This was a while back. And I got, what? It was sold out. But I was able to get some nosebleed tickets. So I'm sitting all the way up there. But the crazy thing is everybody looked so small. But when LeBron James came running down that court, man, he looked big. He was a beast. The way he was just dunking on cats. Like, he's a brick wall that you can't stop. And not to mention, this guy has perfected all 5 positions. And he ain't even done yet. So that's what I'm sticking with.
Here's the crazy thing about LeBron. And it in some ways it is the same about Tiger. The only 2 people I can think of.
Tiger.
Or maybe Kareem, where everybody knew those 3 cats At 14 years old, everybody knew that those three cats were going to be the greatest on the Mount Rushmore of their thing, right? At 14 years old, we knew it about all three of them. Most people fail in that moment, or they just slightly underachieve from that moment. And all three of them exceeded the expectation that they were destined for. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I can't knock the way LeBron has done it, the way he's represented as a family man, as a man of principle, as a man of a father giving back, the charter school.
Yeah, definitely shout out, man. You know, salute to LeBron, man. He's definitely holding it down for the culture right now. And, you know, I feel like he's the middle child, like, you know, J. Cole's song, like middle child. J. Cole is the guy that bridged the kids to the OGs, you know what I mean? And I feel like LeBron James is doing that. He came in the game paying nothing but, you know, homage to the OGs that did it before him, all the legendary dudes. And he has respect. He goes out there and he works, he grinds. He's taken all of that stuff he's seen and he's put it to work. And
you know,
he executes, son.
Facts. You know where we should, LeBron's so important to the culture, and he'll never be Jordan.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but I'm gonna, this is just off the dome. I hadn't thought about this until just now. And I'm sure other smarter people have said this, but check this out. He is not the heir apparent to Jordan. He'll never be Jordan. And then you got to deal with Kobe, and then you got to deal with Kareem and all the other cats we talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Magic. You know what LeBron is? He is the descendant of Ali.
You said, what was that again? Descendant what?
He's the descendant, the next incarnation of Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
How you take consciousness and use it to inform everything you do on and off the court.
No, you're right, man. And he's spoken on things on politics. He's been vocal on, you know, the Trayvon Martins and all these situations that we've gone through as a culture.
He's gone at Trump.
Exactly. Yeah. And,
right. So, like, he's doing something that is transcendent even of what he does in the sport.
Exactly. He definitely has to be one of the highest paid athletes. And I'm not even talking from the NBA. He got money coming from everywhere. Yeah. And that's you know, that's what it is, man. When you helping people and you putting out trying to help people, everyone's gravitating to you. Everybody wants to do a deal with you.
Right.
You know, and that's the level of greatness we all try to achieve.
That's right. My number 4. Controversial pick. Going off the board right now. Digging low. I'm going to the NAIA.
Oh, it's like
I'm going low, G. You're not going to see where this is coming. So I got scoring. I got playmaking. My number 5 is going to blow your number 5 out. I don't care who you pick.
I don't know about that, but yeah, let's hear that. Though.
Okay. You know what I need? And I got a little bit of mouth.
Okay.
With the big ticket. You know what I need? I need body. I need someone that's gonna come in there just like bang, bang, bang.
Who that gonna be, man?
I'm picking the Worm, Dennis Rodman.
Man,
listen, I'm picking the Worm, Dennis Rodman. Now, I almost picked Oakley to keep it Knicks.
Yeah. You know, Oakley.
What I need right there, I almost picked Udonis Haslem to be honest
No,
with you.
you know what, man?
But I
Dennis
need
Rodman,
nasty. I need grit. I need bad boys. I
yeah,
need nasty, nut, tough scramble. Every rebound is mine. I got it.
just
Don't,
swatting
yo,
you and everything.
KG, don't even sweat it. You catching that.
Yeah,
Just square up, Kobe. Boom.
Rodman.
Now, I
You know
don't
what,
care.
Rodman
I
is?
don't care that he crazy because we all
No,
crazy.
listen, Rodman is one of those dudes where he crazy and he understands he's crazy, but when he goes to work on the court, man, it don't matter if he's been doing blow the night before. It don't matter if he's been popping mollies or doing all of that. He's on and he's out there to destroy.
He's a lunch pail cat.
Straight up.
So
And he's a grinder, man. He in the trenches. Every team needs a guy like that.
Who you got? Who's your four?
So, you know, when you talk about Dennis Rodman, I'm like, okay, well, that's dope, but there's a few guys in the NBA that can hold him down. Now, this guy that I'm going to talk about, he's an incredible player. But here's the twist. I love to hate him.
You hate him?
I love to hate him.
Oh, okay.
Because of how good he is and because of what he's done, because of the hard work he made the Bulls go through. You know what I mean? And that guy would be Tim Duncan.
I mean, I can't argue.
I need a body on Rodman. I need a body. Like, not any dude can hold Rodman. You need to be a specific type of beast.
I can't argue that.
Right?
I mean, that's my guy. That's my guy. And I could have picked him. I just wanted a little glitter on the squad.
I got you.
I wanted a little glitter on the squad.
You wanted that blonde hair with the tattoos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I wanted a little glitter on the squad. So, wow. Okay.
You down to the last right now, man.
I mean, quite frankly, this guy's at the top of the list. I mean, I'm talking about him last. Really, I should be talking about him first because on one of the most important metrics in the history of the league, this guy, at least for right now, is there. I got to do a bunch of things. First, I got to represent New York.
Okay.
2, I got to represent history. 3, I got to represent one of the greatest minds in the history of minds. His mama named him Lou. But we know him as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Hey.
I can't even get mad at that, man. Kareem has definitely been
Who's guarding this? Who's guarding this?
He's one of the basketball gods, bro.
Yeah.
Kareem.
You know what? I only hope for one thing, that Kareem's armpits don't smell. Because you was catching a lot of those, there's a lot of sweat in there.
Oh, man. Okay. So
yeah.
You know what? My number 5, though.
Wait, before you do it.
Before I drop that, okay?
Before you drop it, I'm gonna write my answer, right? And I'm gonna curious if I get it right. Just because we in this young cat, old cat. So what's your number 5?
Yo, let me tell you about this dude real quick. This guy, not only is he a force of nature, he is a huge brick. Like, he's a tall wall that you can't even penetrate. This dude, if you try to block him or even try to block his shot, you're going to get an elbow that's going to crack your skull. That's how big this dude is. Yeah. This guy's a rapper. This guy can pop, lock, and drop it. I seen him doing videos with his sons. I'm talking about the one and only Diesel. Shaquille O'Neal, son. Yes. See, real recognized, real right there. You cannot make a list
The Diesel.
without Diesel.
I didn't want to put Kobe and Shaq on the same squad, so I didn't pick Shaq. But
Right.
Shaq, when all is said and done, probably will be the richest athlete in the history of
no doubt.
sports.
No doubt. Hands down.
My dad got mad endorsements. He be
got mad
stepping on the general.
He's funny. He can connect. He can do his commentator. Like, yo, this guy is killing it. He's done movies, bro.
Yo, you know what's one of the dopest sports movies ever? Blue Chips.
That's right. Yeah.
Instead of watching The Last Dance tonight, I'm going to watch Blue Chips.
Hey, okay, listen, man. We're going to get back on our Last Dance.
Nick Nolte. Okay. So, So your starting five was AI, Jordan. Who's your three? AI, Jordan.
Number 3 was LeBron.
Oh, LeBron. AI, Jordan, LeBron, Tim Duncan, and Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal.
And mine was Magic, Kobe, KG, Rodman, and Kareem.
Hey, man,
so we're gonna
lineups right there.
We're gonna post this somewhere because we don't have anywhere to post it yet. But at some point, we're gonna post this and we're gonna ask people to vote on who wins Kareem versus Shaq.
Yes.
I mean, Kareem versus Shaq, Team Ralph or Team Roy, Black Fathers Matter.
That's right. And you know what, man? Since we brought it up, like, you know, since we're doing this,
yeah,
I think, we need to do the top 5 players we love to hate.
Okay, yeah.
Who are just good, but we just can't stand them. And then you got the Reggie Bush. No, the Reggie Millers. You got the Reggie Millers in there. You got the David Robinsons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got, like, Charles Barkley, Bill Laimbeer, Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Karl Malone, Sprewell. Wow. Gilbert Arenas. There's a lot of cats that could fit in that. So we're going to put that on the list. Top 5, hate hard, love hate.
That's right.
Ball players. Right now, we're going to take a break. Represent for Team Ralph or Team Roy. Black Fathers Matter. Let's take a break. We wrap this whole thing up. All right, welcome back to Black Fathers Matter. On to the final call. So one tip from each of us from this week. So Roy, what's your final call for this week, man?
Yo, you know what my tip would be, man? To all the fathers out there who have teenage kids who are, getting their learner's permit or even learning to drive, this is the best time to get out there, teach your kids to drive. You know why? Streets are empty. Cars are everybody's home. Parking lots are empty. And if you feel brave, you can take them on a highway as long as they have the learner's permit. But my thing is seize the day, maximize the time that we have right now, and take advantage of the fact that the streets are empty. You can take your kids out there and have a good experience teaching them to drive.
Wow, that's a great tip. I would not have thought of that at all. My tip, as I mentioned earlier, I was moving and I found this book that's sitting on my coffee table right now that I packed, and it was the first book that came out. One of the first books I read by choice, called The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. And there's an essay in it that is written to his 14-year-old nephew talking about race. And as my sons get a little bit older, I'm going to reread that as maybe a primer to help me have those conversations with my kids about race in general. So James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a great tip, man. Especially for fathers who are going through having kids who are at that age, and now it's the time for us to teach them that. So that's definitely a big, major tip right there.
Yeah. So, Roy, we did it another week. I'm glad you're healthy and well. To everyone that's listening, thank you for rocking with us. Tell a friend. Post the link on all your social feeds. Next week, we're going to take some questions from fathers. So in the audio, hopefully you'll hear an email address where you can send us your fatherhood questions. Shout out to super producer, the Deacon on the boards, making it all sound good. This was a Pop the Trunk. Both me and Roy can't find our Yeti microphones. So,
yo, you know what? Straight up. Thanks for rocking with us. See you guys next time, and we're going to come back with more heat, more inspiration, more lessons. And while we teach, we try to learn too.
Yeah, stay safe and keep your black ass home.